focus on Archie. He obviously comes from rich footballing stock in his family. I mean, his great uncle was absolute legend for Leeds. His dad played. His granddad did as well. I mean, does that make a difference when you're dealing with a player when you can see that he's got football in his blood?
I don't think I know. I definitely don't treat them any different. I just see them as an individual. I try to help in the best possible way. You can say that sometimes that there is something they maybe got a little bit more in with the blood, especially if they got, which I think actually Archie got. He got that. It's not discipline. It's not the word I'm looking for. But he got that. It seems he understands that he needs to work hard. Like the foundation, you want to achieve anything, you need to do that. And I think his understanding of the game is good as well. So I think those two bits and the discipline, I think is key areas you want to achieve anything. So that maybe is that from the plot of the family, maybe. Yeah.
And back to Rodrigo, you mentioned that fantastic news to have him sign the contract, same with Romero, to buy into what you hope to achieve in the next few years. I mean, he obviously would have been a free agent in the summer, presumably one of the most attractive free agents in Europe. Can you just give us a bit more insight to how you managed to convince him that the future can be really bright here, and how much, was it a hard sell or was it not at all? Was he very much into it straight away?
I think, of course, we try to convince him in terms of what the future is here. The perspective for the team and the perspective for him, how I saw him and what kind of role I'd like him to play. Of course, a very important player that I think can be part of moving the team forward, and I think his qualities will be able to shine here. And I think we are, I think, start of a journey, and I think the future look bright and exciting. That'll be one thing for sure. There'll be lots of ups and downs, but I think he'll be very good for that.
And lastly, it's the last game before the international break, which fills most Spurs fans with dread.
We have a fantastic stat, isn't it? Something with that, yeah.
Yeah. It's not great. And it would have been unfair to ask you about it last time because it was nothing to do with you, but you have had one experience of it already.
And we performed absolutely top in that game.
I mean, trends in football, I don't know how much you can read into it, but it does seem this weird thing where they struggle for an international break. Can you understand why? Is it just a weird coincidence?
Yeah. Let me put it this way, I really, really do hope we win tomorrow, so we don't need to speak too much about it in the future. For me, it's like a weird thing last year, and not just saying in stats. Last year in Brentford, we couldn't win away from home the first 6 or 7 months, or more than half of the season, for whatever reason. Then suddenly we were the best away team 9 games in a row after that. So the thing is, with these stats, it's things up to us to treat like a game where we're extremely focused, we are aware of the game plan, we show fantastic mentality, and we do what we can to win the game. It's all about a good performance. So we need to keep focused on what is ahead of us, that's the game, make sure we execute the game plan, and then hopefully we're not speaking about that anymore.
Presumably there's a desire to be done with this.
I put it that way. I've mentioned it to the players, so we don't decide. I actually said you guys will most likely ask me, so please make sure we are winning.
I see the logic to it. I mean, you can apply logic to the one after the international break.
Yeah.
But less so before.
Yeah, I actually a bit agree with you, because the one after, that's where some of them have been flying in late. They maybe played 2 90s. They had short turnarounds, that some of them coming from South America, Africa, and so I also actually always felt it was after that could be a little bit of a problem. So I agree with that.
10 games, Thomas.
So what did we do after? We actually beat West Ham, didn't we? Yeah. So it's good. Yeah.
The first 10 games.
Yeah. Sorry, say again. Yeah.
10 games.
Yeah.
One defeat.
Yeah.
Can you reflect a little bit on what you've tried to do coming into Spurs, what you thought were the priorities, and whether you've got them there, whether you're where you want to be? Have some things been moved quicker for you, some things moved slower for you? Anything you can say?
I still think it's how can I say, a low level of games to really do a big analysis on. But I would say that I'm pleased with the foundation in the team in terms of the way we defend as a whole, the little bit of that mentality, desire when it not going the right way. Let's say that 3 times we came back from being down. The set pieces. I think those areas is in a fine place. I think the final third has been a little bit up and down, which is natural. I think we spoke about that before with a front four, completely new front four. So there's new relationship, there's new all that, and I think the little bit of controlling games is probably the next steps to go into.
How do you inject desire as a coach?
What desire?
Yeah, how can you inject?
That's a good question today. I need to think. I think I speak a lot about culture and working hard and running hard, and I think that's a bit of desire. And then speak and show clips and feedback to the group, individual feedback if they don't do it, and praise when they do it. Yeah.
Are their stats improving on those?
The stats? Yeah.
The data?
Yeah.
Anything, any secrets you can tell us?
No, I think the visual is the most important thing, that you see if players are sprinting back or not. I think that's the big thing. If we lose the ball, we need to be able to sprint back. And there's been some nice pictures we can show when we do that. And then of course there'll be some running stats and there's some recovery stats. There's some bits of that.
If I may finally ask one on Colin Warney. It seems an unusual injury that's taken a bit longer than what a lot of people expected. But is he suffering from having a disrupted summer? Is that part of it?
No, it was just a dead leg. I just was bleeding too much. So very simple. Yeah. So that's sorted now. So now we just need to get him up to pace. So yeah, there was no muscle, nothing, just a contact, unfortunately, and then bleeding. Okay.
You spoke in the summer about the need to manage Richarlison and sort of the work the medical department done to build him up.
Yeah.
Have you ended up maybe having to take more risks with his fitness because of the injuries to Dom and Colin being injured?
No, I would say. I think the medical informs department has done a top job in terms of building him, and I think it's quite remarkable that he's how can I say, fit in company with his history. And I think we took some good decisions. For example, was it the first friendly we played or something like that, where he was just too short, so he didn't play the 45 minutes. So there's been trainings where we probably not today. There's been when he came back from last international break, didn't start him. So there's been bits of those. So right now we haven't been forced into areas to games where we had to play him, if that makes sense. So I think he's building extra layer, which is good.
In a situation like that, would you ever maybe get a player to adapt their games so when they're playing maybe don't do as much work off the ball and sort of manage their minutes in that way even while they're playing?
Oof, that's difficult for me. I always get there's a default in me. I get so annoyed if they're not running. So they need to do something unbelievable, remarkable if they are allowed not to run. So the short answer is no.
In terms of his character, do you think he's someone who's better when he sort of has a point to prove? Maybe he has more competition than he's had in the last.
I think that's the tricky thing is, when you walk into a club and you don't know them. You don't know them as a person. You don't know how they react. You speak a little bit to people. How do we get to know them? So that's an answer I don't know, if I'm honest. That will always be for me a little bit as personally difficult to understand. I'm just thinking, okay, you want to improve yourself. You want to do well. You want to, I'm not saying he doesn't want to do that, but any player. So far I've been happy with his attitude and his work rate, and also quite a bit of his performances. But there's still things that can be improved, of course.
LS.
Simron's obviously dropped out midweek and he's kind of played in between the 10 and the left, and I suppose not really kind of had that defining performance in the Spurs shirt yet. How close are you to kind of like working out? I know obviously versatility is a huge reason why you signed him as well, but working out where he fits exactly in this team and getting those kind of right rhythms and combinations with him to kind of see at his best level.
I think that will be an ongoing working progress. He came literally 2 days before the window closed, so that's a little bit more than a month ago, into a new league, new team, new everything. There's very few players I've seen, I can remember, just hit the ground running. For me, I need to see promising signs, I need to see glimpses, I need to think, oh, that was good. I need to see 3 or 4, each game. There can be a touch, there can be a turn, there can be a pass, there can be a top action where, okay, there's something to build on, which I think I've seen. I agree, the through the roof performance we need to see a little bit more, but that I'm quite convinced that it will come.
And with Jed, obviously, he made another England squad.
Yeah.
I think he spoke about how playing for England was one of those kind of ambitions and goals that he's had for a long time. Is that something that he's kind of communicated to you, just how much breaking into the England squad means to him, obviously, in the World Cup year as well?
I just spoke to him after the first call. No, I spoke to him after that as well, but after the first call, how proud he was and happy, and his family, and I can only imagine how big it must be for him. One thing for sure, just extremely happy on his behalf, and I think of his performance, I think he truly deserved it.
I finish with George, please.
Hi Thomas. We go back to July 2024. He's from the outside. Archie Gray is about to sign for Brentford, and then someone come in and ask you kind of how kind of close he was to signing for Brentford, and how did you react when you obviously missed out on a big talent?
Let me put it this way, yes, we spoke with him, but in the way he ended in Tottenham, and maybe that was good. I'll still have the chance to work with him. Yeah, that was one of those things. I think it's no matter where you are and in what club you're in, sometimes you go for some targets and sometimes you can't make it for whatever reason. So what I'm happy with is what I see from Archie here, and I believe he got a big future here.
I guess the sort of plans you had for Brentford, if you had signed, will they be similar here, or is it a bit different because of the squad, maybe the level of squad? Or did you have a completely different plan for him coming in this summer rather than 2 summers ago?
So you asking me if I had the same plan at Brentford or here? Yeah. I can see the way, I'll put it this way, the way I see him hasn't changed. I see him as a midfielder that can play 6 or 8. That I think is his position, and I think these days midfielders are more, how can you say, need to be more complete. They need to be a little bit of 6, a little bit of 8, a little bit of 10. And 2 of the best in the world right now is probably Rodrigo and Declan Rice. I think those they can do a little bit of everything, and I see Archie that there's big names to compare to, but I see he got some of the same potential.
Yeah, I was going to say him and Lucas both get compared quite a lot because they're 19 years old, both young midfielders. I guess Archie has the kind of 30-40 million price tag over his head. He's already played 51 times for Spurs. He's got so much potential. No one can say at this point this has been a failed move or he's a 4 million flop.
No, I also think that when is it that we judge the players? I think it's I think we forget we are not playing. It's not called FIFA anymore. What's it called? The Football Manager. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Or Football Manager, what it is. Yeah. It's human beings we're dealing with, and there's 25 players in a squad, and there's a crazy coach. You have different thoughts, and then there's an opponent affected. There's so many things, and then there's a personal life. So I think when do we judge a player? I think that's probably fair. 2 years down the line to see if that's the first really where we really can make a big assessment. where I know, and I also being judged from game to game, so I know how it works. But I think to really look back, I think that's where you can see if it's not right to rephrase that a little bit. I think to judge if it's a success or failure, I don't think you can really do that after 2 years. That's not the same that you can not be judged on your performances and you haven't done well. That's fair. I didn't perform well because of but that will be a little bit up and down with any player.
And just finally for me, James Madison obviously named him in the Leeds group. He's obviously out for a long time. It can be hard to be positive when you've got such a long road. What has he kind of been like around the group of these last few months? I imagine obviously you're very impressed with him to name him in the group. Yeah,
but I also think there's a couple of things. He's a how can you say, very positive person. He's lively is not the word. It's he's extrovert. So I think positive, smiling, interacting with everyone, and I think that's a big plus. Plus he also get around to everyone, and he's also interested in leadership. So I think that was quite natural.